everyone. Welcome back to our show, to our listeners and viewers. We are Dating and Marriage Perspectives with Amber and Karina. And today we're talking about old school and new school dating and marriages. Are they different? So we have guests today. We're super excited to have guests. And to be completely honest, I'm a little nervous. Like, I feel like I need to show up today because our guests are here with us.
If you shimmy, you take the nerves out.
And Amber's shimming all about it. She should be. I mean, this is blood relatives, so it's very important.
My bad bees.
Exactly. All right, everyone. We have Joanne joining us. I consider her my West Coast mom.
Thank you.
For a couple decades, yes, absolutely. But more importantly, Amber's mom. And then we're also joined by Nikki. Nikki's joining us today, who I also consider my cousin, family member, close friend, and also, more importantly, Amber's first cousin. So we invited Joanne and Nikki. So as you can see, there's different, should I say, generational decade representation here. So we really wanted to dive into this topic of old school dating and old school marriage and new school dating and new school marriage by having some different perspectives, which is the name of our show. So good for us and Amber. So we thought they would provide some really great perspective. We can't wait to hear what they have to say about their own personal relationships and love and everything else that falls under that. So I'm gonna pass it on to my girl Amber, who's gonna kick us off with some questions.
Yes. And actually, before I do, I have to make a correction because mom has already told me I need to. In one of our last episodes, don't leave out the house with a dry purse and a wet pee. Mom told me she's not the one who said that. So even though I think that was like amazing advice, whoever gave me that advice, thank you. But I just want to make sure we clear that up.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Somebody said it. Thank you.
She doesn't even remember me ever using the word. So
it's still good advice.
Good advice.
It is.
Okay, so I kind of want to talk to the ladies who are dating right now. What would you consider like old school dating?
Old school dating. Well, to me, I think old school dating is the traditional, you might meet them at school, your neighbor, that sort of thing. You grew up with them. And then it's, dinner dates, that sort of thing. And then it kind of progresses and eventually moves into marriage or something like that. And that's just the typical way that it normally goes. But that's not how it is now.
Okay, well, tell me, jump into it. Like, what's new school dating? Talk about it.
I mean, new school dating is a lot less traditional, a lot less, you don't really know what's going to happen. What
does that mean?
There's higher expectations. There's a lot of options now. So I think people are less willing to settle down with just anyone because they can find something better at the swipe of a finger, so.
With the swipe of a finger.
I mean, it's the truth, and also it's harder to meet that person versus back in the day where it was your neighbor, your someone you went to school with or something like that. Now it's, we don't have as much time. We're not as close to people in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. We move around. Millennials are all about travel and never staying in the same place. So, we're busy. And so we use other methods to meet people. And so that also has its detriments too, because you can find better, easier. At least that's what we think.
People are bored easily. They just move on to the next thing. Like, whatever. I'm like, really? Whatever? It's just break.
Well, it seems like through like all that technology, right? For people who didn't have it before, why isn't it not easier to find? I mean, because now you have more options.
That's what makes it hard, because you do have options. If this person doesn't work out, I know that I can go on an app or go wherever and find somebody else. Honestly, that's how it is. That's how most people of my age group at least think, from what I can tell.
Okay. Same thoughts for
The
you.
numbers game.
It's a numbers
Mhm.
game.
It's
Okay.
a numbers
Numbers
game.
game. Yeah, it makes me think of the numbers game that people are just, I think there's just a lot of game behind it,
Mhm.
right? Like people just want to make up a list of a number of different people that they can date and see, and they have options and they can just turn around, turn the cheek and just move on to the next person. I think people are not spending enough time in getting to know each other to really decide if you want to explore something with them or whatever. So I just, I agree with some of the things that Nikki said.
Yeah.
Are they not getting enough time because it's like a hit it and quit it situation?
Hmm.
I mean,
I
so
think-
I'll speak from my
I don't know.
experience. Okay, so there's a couple people I've made contacts with. I made a contact with, and sometimes I just don't want to talk to them. Sometimes my day is so long after work, and I have to find the energy to really put myself, in front of someone and talk with them and get to know them. It's not that I don't want to do it. I think it's because you just have to find the energy to do it.
Mhm.
Did I answer your question? I feel like I didn't answer the question.
No. Well, you didn't ask the hit it and quit it, but you did answer it in your own way.
Mm.
So that's,
I
I'm
think
Yeah.
probably some hit it and quit it kind of thing too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're looking for, I guess.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I know did we do a show on this yet? Yeah, we did a show on texting and dating.
Oh.
We did.
Okay. So like, for the ones like dating, like what are your thoughts on texting while dating?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, me personally, I can only speak from my experience. I mean, I wouldn't go into like a deep, heavy conversation via text, or if we're, having a longer conversation, I wouldn't do that via text. I personally like in-person conversations when you're doing that sort of thing. I don't even really like phone calls for that, because I like to know that I'm getting your undivided attention. When I'm doing that. I mean, but for other conversations, it's fine. Like if we're just, catching up or whatever. But I think texting is great because you can chat throughout the day, you're at work, you can check in, you can send funny videos or memes or music or, just things that, keep you interested in the person, and you kind of are able to connect in a way, even though it's somewhat impersonal, but you can still connect with, different things that are less important. And I think it's helpful.
Well, Nikki, let's say that you meet somebody online. Okay. Like how soon do you expect them to either call or text? And at what point do you say, hey, let's talk?
Well, for me, I do my own vetting with these types of things.
Okay.
So you have to answer questions the right way. And
Okay.
so I know that we're on the same page with certain things.
Okay.
And so I know that it's worth my time going forward.
Sure.
So if we continue to progress and you're answering everything, like I think, you're giving me the right answers and stuff, then usually it's just like a meetup. After that, it's not even a phone call really. It's usually because we're in San Diego, why not just meet up for coffee or whatever? That's kind of how I do it.
Do you get a picture of them? Oh, well, you've already seen their picture.
Yeah, you've seen each other. I mean, we might exchange numbers and then like arrange to meet up, but usually shortly after that, there's a meetup involved versus a phone call. But if the conversation kind of goes on too long, then it's like, okay, obviously let's get a phone call at least if we're too busy to kind of meet up. But generally it's, okay, what are you doing on Friday? Let's just have a drink and continue this conversation. That's kind of how I do it.
Same for you, Kay, because I know we've talked about it and it's like, well, damn, just pick up the phone call, just pick up the phone.
Yeah, and I want to connect that back to like what is old school dating?
Mhm.
Because I go back to when things were a little bit more simple. We weren't as busy, we weren't so occupied with so many things and have so many options. Like I think back to playing my CD and listening to the whole album, right? Like today, stuff is being streamed and your music comes from a whole lot of different places.
Right.
I think about getting a phone call, like someone is dialing my number and calling my house. They might have to bypass my brother or my mom or they're asking for Karina to talk to. And to me, that's like taking your time. Let's get to know Karina. Let me make some time for Karina. I want to be courted. I want to be thought about. I like slow the F down just a little bit, right? Like, yeah, there's other people around, but this right here,
Right.
Yeah.
this is a gem. And I think people are not spending enough time to really get to know the gem in front of them.
Yeah.
Moments of feeling special and those things. I think sometimes it's just missed in new school dating. It's
yeah. Like, remember when they would make you a CD?
Right?
Yeah,
a tape, not even a CD, girl. Do you remember the tape?
They would make the mixtape. And you have to write all the songs on it.
Yes.
It's fast, it's immediate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. But it sounds like even though you are more so in the new school of dating, you still want some of the old school love and respect back in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think online is wrong. It's not wrong. It's
not
just
wrong.
Yeah, it's not, online dating is not wrong. Like I said before, I get to meet people I probably wouldn't meet because we don't hang out in the same space or frequent the same restaurant or whatever it might be. But once we make that connection, what's that connection all about? That's just
it's a Netflix and chill.
Right. But I think there's also overlap. Like, for instance, I guess old school dating, you might go to dinner and a movie, but now it's Netflix and chilling.
Yeah.
Instead of making me a CD, with a special playlist on it, you might send me your Spotify playlist, that you think I might like. And, there's similarities, but just.
I don't even know what that is. I know what Spotify is. I didn't know you can send a whole playlist to somebody for it.
You can send each other playlists. I have some of my friends, like we share music and stuff.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can just still do some of those kind of old school things, but just in a different way, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Do you guys think that?
Things.
Huh?
I like to touch things. I like to.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Sorry. Yeah, I got to remember my mom is on here. Okay. So I'll be a little more tame today. Do you guys think that our awareness of gender roles has influenced how two people function in a relationship?
Yes. So I think.
Oh, you want to take that one? Okay.
All right. She didn't even give you a chance.
So this is where I don't say struggle, but I can do it for myself. I can bring my own groceries into my house. I can do those things, take out the trash. I don't want to take out the trash though. It'd be nice to have somebody meet me at my car and say, baby, I got it. Bring the groceries in. So I want someone who I can depend on, even though I'm independent and I can do it on my own and all those things. So I struggle a little bit because I don't need a man to do things for me, but it's nice to have a man do things for me.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that's where the gender role kind of plays. Open the door for me. I still want that. Open the door for me, help me out of the car, pay for dinner, all those things. But I also recognize, okay, he's done this and that, and he's really attentive and he's paying attention and all these things. And I would respond in my own way to recognize his appreciation, my appreciation for him and all this stuff. But yeah, I think, and then men, I mean, we don't have male perspective here, but, I wonder if men are women empowerment and feminist views, they don't need my help. I'm just not going to court women the way they used to be courted or the way I saw my dad court my mom kind of thing. So I also wonder if I'm sure there's that going on from the male perspective of, well, she doesn't need my help to get out of the car, so I'm just gonna whatever.
I think there is that there could be that view, and I'm sure mom will agree with this or not, but a man will only do what you allow him to do, right? So if you don't expect him, if you don't tell him and he doesn't, if you tell him, okay, hey, I like to help me out the car or do this, he's going to treat you how you teach him how to be treated. How you teach him how to treat you is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I think that's true. And by the way, I agree with what you guys are saying about the new and old, getting to know someone and stuff. Of course, I'm not very familiar with the new way, except that you know the person has a computer. It's about what you got. But on the side of, I think for anybody, you have to help them learn how you want to be treated, what you won't take in terms of that treatment. And yeah, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Oh, just how gender roles have changed over time. So
They have changed to a degree. I personally kind of like the way the old school did it. I want him to expect to take the trash out. I want him to, he doesn't have to open the car door necessarily for me, but there are other gender roles that I do appreciate. And I'm sure that it's vice versa. I'm sure that there are gender parts of the female that he wants you to be the female. You know?
I mean,
I teach a man how to be a man. I think that's
not
more
how
of
to
the-
be a man, but how to
how to be a man. Like how to. I don't want to teach somebody how to treat me.
I want him to already know.
yes.
That's what I mean. Like you
Interesting.
should know to open the door. And I've dated men where they know automatically. Like they've done that. And then I've dated other men where it is completely absent. Just
Well, and part of that is some of our fault too. I mean,
Yes.
when we get to this, female empowerment and I can do for myself and you don't need to do,
yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But in certain areas, there may be things that you want that are part of the old school. Like I like it when you open the door for me, or, or
Mhm.
don't say anything because it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
You
A closed mouth don't get fed.
know?
Okay. That's what I
That
was
was
gonna
not
say.
from my mother. I don't know where it was from.
I was gonna say communication. Honestly,
Yes, that's an important
you
part.
communicate and talk about it. I mean, I've had those conversations where it's like, this is what I like. This is what I normally do in relationships. This is what you do. This is what we both like. And then kind of just go from there, because I may not be like the last person they dated. So maybe they don't know what I want.
No, that's interesting. What if they say, no, I don't want to do that?
I've
Okay,
never had that happen.
they don't have to either.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Right. They
It
don't
is your
have to. I
decision.
mean, I'm not going to make you uncomfortable at
They can
all.
just
Like, if
say
you're not
next.
comfortable with,
Yeah.
opening the door all the time, then okay.
Yeah.
Not mad about it.
Okay. Let's go to mom. Can we go to mommy first?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so I'd love to know, how was it before, like dating daddy and being married and what that felt like? And yeah, in your own words, like what is old school dating and marriage?
Well, I think old school is part of what Nicole, for example, was saying, where you met them through someone. So, for example, I met Reg through my first cousin's wife, and it was her brother. And so when I would go back east and visit, then I met him, and I was impressed with the younger man. I really was. I thought I needed a man at least 6 years older because I was living in LA for a while, Lord knows. So it was really
Those West Coast men.
and I think in one of your podcasts, Karina, you were talking about how your list of what you want from a man changes. And so one of the things that becomes important, I think, in old school at least, is, well, how do they treat their mother? How do they interact with their family?
Mhm.
Do they have a good heart? Do they know how to empathize? But yeah, the community, if you don't treat your mother well, either she's not well or you're not well. I'm not having any of that.
Something's wrong.
And abuse is absolutely out of the box. That won't even come close. And how do you treat kids? So how would I expect you to treat our children? Those basic kinds of things, the interactions that they have, and you're able to see that far better than swipe or whatever however you guys are doing it these days, there's more of an up close and personal look. And dating, I mean, he asked me to marry him during one of the summers that I was visiting out there. And, you know, we had not both completed college. And so I said, well, do you feel the same way in a year? You know, during that year, we would have these conversations on the phone where there'd be a lot of silence sometimes. And these calls cost. They're not like today. You know, we'd be on the phone and almost like not even really saying anything, just being on the phone. I don't recommend that. I'm just saying.
It doesn't cost anymore, so it's fine.
Right.
It kind of happened that way. So
Was it just knowing you got the other person was on the other line?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah. Because there
What
was a little bit of silence sometimes.
And what was being married to daddy like?
You know, I was thinking about this question, and I'm glad you sent them, Karina. And I still don't have as good an answer. You know, it's learning a different dynamic. It's not like your mother or your father or your siblings or your uncle. This is two people coming from two different worlds, trying to figure each other out, and hoping that the better qualities outweigh the not so ones you're not so happy with. And if they do outweigh it, then it makes it worth it. And frankly, as the years went on, especially just before he passed, I mean, there were years in there where it was the best of times, the very best of times. All the jealousy was gone, all the, you know, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. A lot of the financial strain, the raising of kids, which can put anybody.
I always say this. I said, when we went to college and, you know, we were out of the house, when we'd come back, like our parents were laughing. I'm like, where'd this come from? But I understand like the strain of it, you know, was all, you know, you guys got to probably know each other again as if when you were dating. And
yeah, that and there was a lot less pressure. There was missing the heck out of you guys. You know, that empty nest syndrome kind of thing.
you did.
Who said what?
I said, sure you did.
No, really.
He did.
I know.
Absolutely. And then, you know, you almost didn't want them to say goodbye again, because not that because you were going to be together time, but we had just gone through and learned. I mean, 41 years, you kind of get to a pretty good perspective on someone, you know, and learning what you do in the room. And I meant to mention something too. Strange as it seems, and I can't remember how long we had been married when that book came out, Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars. Remember that one? That actually helped. I mean, it actually helped, because I didn't realize that when I'm complaining about the job, for example, to him, he thinks automatically he's supposed to fix something, that I'm asking him to fix it. So, you know, one particular day, we only had one car. So he picks me up, we pick the kids up. Sometimes there are two different places, and then we get home. I mean, it's not that easy. And I remember complaining about the job, and he said, he was getting sort of frustrated, and he was saying, do you want me to beat him up? And I said, what is he talking about? No. You know, when a woman complains, she just really wants an ear, commiserating. But his assumption was that he's supposed to fix something. I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway.
I do have one other question. What advice would you give to women, especially women that are, you know, dating and looking at marriage, or looking at, you know, their desires to be married? But what advice would you give them?
What should they look for? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like what advice would you give somebody who's dating and who wants to be married? You know, but there's a lot of fish in the sea, and you got to kiss a lot of frogs
along the way.
Yeah. What advice would you give them?
I think some of the things I just mentioned, like, you know, does he have a good heart? And you can tell a good heart by the way they treat the way they treat others. Do they empathize? Do they respect you, for God's sakes? You know, which can show up in a number of different ways. Do they respect you? I think those are some of the important things to take a look at.
Mhm.
And perhaps part of the good part about the old school dating is that you have more of that interaction time. Like you were both saying, you dating ladies, you were both saying, there's you didn't just skip along so quickly. Not that you couldn't, not that you didn't date some people that you said, this is not going to work, but just that, this one might be a keeper. Something just tell, this one might be a keeper. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Amber,
Yes.
so Mama Joe just mentioned quite a few things about marriage, from communication to expectations, like taking out the trash or help pick up the kids, looking for the good heart of a partner and things like that. So, and some other things. In listening to your mom, are there some aspects of or elements of her marriage to your dad that you also have in your marriage? Or are there elements that were present in her marriage with your dad that are not present in yours?
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. And I think a lot of elements are present. Now, am I patient enough for some of that stuff? Probably not.
Amazing.
It is the truth. I think, well, the nice thing is, I remember my parents sharing a lot of like the household stuff, so, and I can see it now later, like if somebody cooked, one person cooked, the other person would do the dishes and clean. I don't ever remember, I think, seeing mom take the trash out. And I not when we were there. Not when we were there, you didn't take the trash out, but
well, you have kids, but go ahead.
Yeah, but even when we left, I think daddy probably took the trash out, and bought the trash cans in. But I think that they shared a lot of roles as we got older. They shared a lot of roles, but I think mom had a lot of roles in the beginning that I probably didn't know about and probably didn't appreciate. I will say that.
Ooh, I could use an example on that one.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, you could use an example?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that you would always make sure that we have dinner, that dinner was always made. And sometimes daddy cooked, but I feel like you cooked a lot more.
True.
And even if we didn't have a whole bunch of food, you always made sure that everybody else got fed first, even if you weren't going to have a lot. I do remember things like that. And are there elements? What was the other question? Are there elements that, what?
Is it better?
Yeah, that's better. That I don't see. I think like the older I'm getting, like I said, I have to just grow a little bit more patience and understanding and realize that there are two people in this marriage, but and I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. But I will say also I don't want to say this is new school marriage or not, but something mom and I talk about a lot is that even when you go to like Brett has a lot, he's very hands-on with the boys, and he's hands-on with the boys as I get to run my business, as I get to do these podcasts, things like that. Where I don't think you saw that as much back in the day. But even if you go to the park now, you see a lot more men with their kids, which is really a nice thing. So I'd have to say, that may be for another episode, but I'm just throwing that out there. So I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. I think another thing you are saying, or that I'm hearing, is that people or couples evolve over time.
Yes.
And change or adjust to roles that maybe they never had before, didn't think they should be holding. So I think that's what I'm hearing.
There is involvement and there is adjustment.
Yeah. It's funny because oh, sorry, mommy, go ahead.
I was just going to mention something that I was going to propose to you guys, and that is, were you planning on doing an episode where you have some men give their perspective on what they're looking
Yes.
for? No,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
want to.
we'll get the other side. It's fine.
Just to give you a little hint what they might be.
Yes, no, I think it would be great. I was gonna say, it's funny because to see the women in my family that have been married for a long time, they're always like, oh my God, you got such a good man and this and that. And I'm like, I mean, he's got a good woman though, but I think it's because how much time he's, going back to the roles and how gender roles have maybe changed and are a little bit more on equal footing now. It's just interesting to see that. And so.
Yeah, I think men are a lot more involved with their children these days. They don't feel that disconnect until they get to be a certain age. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And there's a lot more stay-at-home dads now than there were.
Yeah, it's really different.
So that's really nice.
Normalizing it.
Yeah. Yep.
Normalizing that, yeah.
So, all right. Okay. So like Mom and Nikki, like how do you guys feel? Like Nikki, I know how you feel because you like online dating, but Mom, like what do you think about the concept of online dating?
I'm really not very familiar with it. And so it's a little, I don't know how I feel about
It's like shopping.
Yeah,
It's like Instacart.
Window shopping.
It's like Instacart, Mama Joe.
yeah, and I'm
You
not
get all these coupons. They could be 6'2", 5'7", black, Chicano, got a job, self-employed.
There's something a little less personal about it to some degree, and I remember when I was dating, I would normally not give my number out to a guy. I'd get your number, and then if I feel like calling you, I'll call you. But I wouldn't give my number out.
Big pimping right there. I'm telling y'all. I learned the magic. This is where I learned the magic.
So it does seem a little impersonal, but it's the new way, and it works for. I've got a great son-in-law as a result of it. Sure. Wouldn't have thought that, and always worried about you're dating somebody online you don't know, you just never met, and they, always worried about something going wrong because you don't know that person and nobody knows that person, and so there's no referral basis, and so it's a little worrisome. Yeah. But it seems to be working out for you guys. So what can I tell you?
Well, TBD.
Well,
I'll let you know, Mama Joe.
I don't know about that.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry.
Do you like online dating, Nikki? Do you like it?
I mean, it's really the only option we have. So I don't know that it matters whether I like it or not.
Possible. You go out.
I know, but it's not like you don't just randomly go up to people anymore. That's not how you meet people these days. Like people stay with their friends, they stay with their groups, they stay at their table. It's awkward to just randomly go. Yeah, people don't do it. And after COVID,
I was going to say, is that
pandemic world?
Okay.
People don't do that. It would be awkward.
Even before that.
Right. So it's, yes.
Dudes do not approach me when I'm out. I could count maybe on 5 fingers where someone actually approached me and said, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
How do you like the drink? Like it's not, I don't say it's not normal. I just haven't experienced it when I'm out with my girls, grocery shopping, doing whatever. It happens very, 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 very little that someone would approach me and say, hey, what's up? You're beautiful. Can I get your number?
I am
shocked. I think
that's how it is, seriously. So for Nikki to say it's the only option, I wouldn't say it's the only option, but it's a primary way that I don't even know if I would say primary way. It's if going out, I would experience a lot more men coming up to me saying, hello, are you seeing somebody, whatever. If I experience that a lot more, I wouldn't be online.
Right. I agree.
I would be online.
Do you think men's egos have gotten a little more fragile?
I don't know what it is. I don't
Possibly.
know. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Well, I have these two guy friends that are really close to me, and we have these conversations a lot about dating and whatnot. And they speak on how hard it is to kind of go up to women and do that because they get rejected. And so it kind of is, kind of kills your ego if you're constantly being rejected. No one likes that, so it's like, how do you keep doing that if it hurts, So
We're gonna have to have them on the show.
you could. One just broke up with his girlfriend, so
Oh, maybe too soon.
he's bummed out. But I mean, hearing their perspective kind of makes me think of men in a different way. They're not these strong guys that you kind of, at least for me, that I envision. Like, they have feelings too.
Yeah.
They get their feelings hurt. Rejection sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's important for women to remember.
Yeah.
Even in a marriage or whatever,
Mhm.
nobody likes to have their feelings hurt.
Right.
Mom's constantly telling me that, so that was more for me, I think, than
No, I was no. I ask you to look at a different perspective sometimes. That's all.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
hear you. I'm just really shocked and a little disappointed that men aren't stepping up to do that, even when you're out at a restaurant or at a bar or something. I mean,
Yeah. I think for me, it happens more when I'm by myself. Like, if
mhm.
I'm just sitting at a bar and I'm eating some food, watching the game, maybe there's another sick guy who's by himself, and then we're talking about the game or something. But it's a friendly kind of thing. It's never really like a let me get your number all creepy kind of way.
Right.
It's just a friendly, oh, who are you rooting for? Where are you from? Like, it's just very casual conversation. So that happens, but there's a lot less of, hey, you're beautiful, let me get your number. There's a lot
Right.
less of that sort of thing.
Hmm.
That is
That's
kind
the
of creepy
old
though.
school.
You're beautiful, can I get your number? That's kind of creepy.
Right. And I would think it's creepy. Most women probably would, so they don't.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, we're gonna have to, on a different show, we need to do like a West Coast, East Coast dating men.
Seriously,
I'm wondering.
if I was back home, it would be different.
Yeah.
It would be different. My brother tells me all the time, he's in New York. He's like, you would
Or
have
just
no problem.
go get them.
Huh?
Go get them and bring them over here.
There you go, right? That's right.
That's exactly
Didn't I
what
talk
I did.
about not wanting to talk to people afterwards? That takes
Just not pick 'em up.
I had to go back east
far.
to find my man. Shoot.
Yep.
Oh, you did too. That's right.
I had well, I don't want to say that.
No, you're right. No, I
no,
mean,
You did though.
I think it was just people got LA madness, that most of them weren't Los Angelines. The ones that I did meet they were nice. But the ones that, I know I really had to go back east. Yeah.
it's
Like,
interesting.
here's Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah.
That's what my friends and I say.
Very
Peter Pan
Tinkerbell
syndrome
dust.
here.
It's funny because mom always used to tell me, the game hasn't changed. The game's the same. It's just the players that have changed.
Mm-hmm.
So food, and I used to just think, oh, mom, you don't understand, blah, 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 but it's true.
It is.
I do think the game is the same. It's just, we just have to figure out a way to navigate or to teach them to treat us the way we want to be treated.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And they still like to hunt. They still, Dr. Phil said something about he wouldn't want to be the member of a club that wanted him as a member. He wouldn't want to belong to a club that wanted him as a member. There's a double entendre there that goes on
Right.
with it. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's a
Wow, boy, this has been fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have any other questions? Are there, let me ask you, okay, go ahead. Sorry, because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Oh, you're good.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we might need to wrap it up because it's approaching 5:00 and
Okay.
folks have stuff to do.
Yes, it's happy hour time. Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
You guys, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And
Thanks for having us.
yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yes, thank you.
I can't wait to have you guys back because I'm sure there's going to be other ones that we can drink with and talk more.
Yes, we need beverages next time.
Unless you announce that every
Well, usually I'm drinking. I'm, courtesy to you. Tonight, I'm not.
Oh, so you need me back when there's beverages.
Oh, no.
Oh,
But thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And, I just hope the world gets to see why, in my opinion, I got the baddest bees in the world.
Hey.
Pew, 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 pew. Anyways, yeah, you guys, please, if you have any questions for the family or heard something that you guys like, please make sure to comment below. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Apple, all of it. Just find us. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for coming. Have a great day. Bye.
love you guys.
Love you. Not you, mommy. You're not going to hang up yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
New school, old school. Okay. Thanks for joining, everybody.